All right, guys, the next analogy, the next principle is what we often refer to as the Neil deGrasse Tyson or the black hole technique. Now, it's not a technique. Okay, ready? The next concept I'm going to give you guys is, again, applicable to all of your strangles in jiu-jitsu, and it's called the black hole. Sometimes we call it the Neil deGrasse Tyson technique. Now, this operates off of a very, very simple principle, and it's really painfully obvious if you watch it in other positions. Like if he turns his back to me right now, I go for a rear naked choke, like this, trying to keep as much distance between him and me as possible. Not only is it probably impossible to get to a choke here, but it's like stupid. If I do this and I try to squeeze, all I want to do is get as tight as humanly possible to the person and then apply my force. So I'm taking all of the slack out of, doesn't matter if it's a joint lock or it's a strangle, I take all of the slack out of what I'm attacking and then I apply my major power sources. So in the case that I'm attacking with this triangle, we run through the whole sequence. Again, when I say stack, just a little bit, okay? So from right here, I grip, foot on the hip, I shimmy, 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 slap bracelet, bike lock. From here, when I move myself perpendicular, I could definitely try to stomp and curl from here. But notice that once this is locked, all of his defenses that actually work involve him creating distance from his head and neck and my core. So if he were able to posture up real high or something like that, that would make this much harder to finish. So what I'm going to try and do is, before I squeeze and burn my legs out, which you should never have to do, I'm instead going to do my best to pull myself perpendicular. Usually underhooking the armpit is my favorite. From here, I'll go around his head. I'm going to S-grip my hands and hold tight. Now, before I just go stomping and curling and finishing, I want to make sure that I'm not kicking him away from me at the same time. You've probably seen people fail at triangles doing it this way before. You may have even seen people finish it. But just because you can do it on someone who sucks doesn't mean it's a good move, right? So from right here, I pull it in tight. Now, once I'm to the side, I'm just going to start shimmying and adjusting and trying to eliminate as much space as humanly possible with my chin on the back of his head like it's picture day, right here. And then I can start flaring this leg out, and I can put so little pressure, it's insane. The further away he is from my body, the more I have to flex and push and waste energy. But the tighter I can get him right in here, the easier it's going to be. So once you guys are in that triangle and you've got everything locked, I want you guys to imagine the center of your core is a black hole. Everything's going to get closer. Nothing gets to leave. Be patient. You don't have to rush and squeeze super hard or anything like that. Focus on the outlying stuff. So again, if I have the triangle and it's locked, I'm not going to focus on how I can make my legs tighter at this point. They're already locked. If my feet are flexed and my legs are locked, that's as tight as they're probably going to get before I start applying force. But what I can do is I can punch my arms up higher. I can wiggle myself into position more. I can get my head tighter to him. And then when I get here, I basically think about choking the person and they start tapping. So give that a shot, not only when it comes to your triangle chokes, but also maybe if you're shooting for a Darce choke or something like that. Don't let there be space here. Wiggle and get as tight as you possibly can, and then start applying your power source with as little pressure as possible starting, and then slowly escalate. Some people say 5%, 10%, 15%. My personal preference is start by thinking about it, move to 1%, give it 2 or 3 seconds there, and then move up to 2, 3, 4%. It usually does not take very much. It just takes consistent pressure over a longer period of time.